What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys a Tuesday MLB edition of my DFS podcast. We have 11 games on the main slate tonight, plenty of games on this Tuesday, 4 games in the early window, and 3 games in the after hours window. At 9:40 Eastern. The early window starts at 6:40 Eastern like yesterday. Both slates will be on my Dub Club as usual. Coming off of a rough day yesterday, no need to beat around the bush. No one's perfect, but yesterday was bad all around. Really tough games to predict the way they happened, but that's the beauty of DFS. It's always a new day. You can always have a huge bounce back night on any given slate. So let's stick to the process here. As usual, I'm going to talk about pitcher, a couple of infield, couple of outfield value plays. Give this video a like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. This slate's interesting. We do have some cheap guys we can look at. There's also a really good trio of guys to spend up on tonight at pitcher, and we would have to sacrifice, the Coors Field game if we did that. We ended up seeing extra innings in the Coors Field game yesterday with the Red Sox. It was still pretty disappointing because the guys who were supposed to do well didn't really do much. It still ended up being 9-8, so plenty of runs. But, the Red Sox, you had, Devers really do nothing. Duran was all right. Ref Schneider was a huge, cheaper, popular play, and he didn't do anything. But new night tonight. It's the highest over-under on this slate once again. So, we just got to play the numbers. We can't get too caught up about what happened a night ago. We just got to play, every slate like it's, brand new. And we see an 11 over-under here. Red Sox minus 160. Facing another lefty, Ty Blatch. So, expect a very similar lineup that they put out last night against the lefty Austin Gomber. Hopefully we can, kind of nail down what happens in that game a little bit better than what we did yesterday. But all the top pitchers look good. I do think in cash games you're probably going to want to fade it to a cheaper guy to get expensive bats. But, Chris Sale against the Reds looks great. Logan Gilbert against the Angels looks great. Zach Wheeler against the Twins looks great. All 3 of these guys look great. Right now, we do have a couple of games with some rain around, but nothing that looks like it's going to, cancel the game. One of those games with rain around is Atlanta at the Reds. So we're going to want to see the radar closer to lock before we're thinking about picking Chris Sale. Gilbert and Wheeler are $200 a piece, or apart, I should say, and they're projected very similar points. Gilbert's projected a couple more points. Against the Angels, he's probably my favorite out of the 3 if you want to spend up. Minus 162 favorite in a 7 over-under. He is at home, so I do like Logan Gilbert. But if you go with Wheeler, Gilbert, or Sale, you're not going to really be able to pick any Red Sox, which could end up being a problem tonight. But if you want to fade him, go for it. I mean, again, it's very, you can set yourself up in a good spot. I obviously know what I'm doing, but, baseball can be very unpredictable. And, the Red Sox could put up 3 runs and you might not need them at all. And then you have a stud pitcher like Wheeler, Gilbert, or Sale putting up a 50 spot, and all of a sudden you're in a good spot. But when the Red Sox are expected to score, 6-7 runs, it's kind of hard to shy away from that. Someone's probably going deep at least once on the Red Sox. For cheaper guys, if you do want to get, expensive bats in there, which are going to be crucial tonight, I don't mind Jose Soriano in that matchup against Logan Gilbert. He's 8,100. The Mariners, I don't know the exact numbers, but they're up there for, the team that strikes out the most in the MLB. I know they're in that top tier, so always a good matchup for the pitcher. I don't mind Soriano coming off of a 40 spot in the same matchup against the Mariners. Just 10 days ago before the All-Star break. So Soriano looks fine at 8,100. I do think the most popular guy tonight, because people love picking him. And tonight it's going to be hard to get away from him. He's been pretty off and on, But John Gray has a matchup at home against the White Sox, and he's only 7,500. This is just a piece of chalk that is really hard to get away from as a cheap pitcher tonight. In the past, when John Gray's been, 7,300, 7,500, 7,800, he's a huge piece in cash game lineups because then you can stack bats. John Gray is not a $7,500 pitcher. He does have a sub-4 ERA, but he has shown he can get lit up. -6, -12. Before that, he did have a stretch this year where he was pretty damn good. He's averaging 22 fantasy points at 7,500. If he gets anywhere over 20 fantasy points, we're going to feel pretty good. And the matchup for John Gray couldn't be any better tonight. He's at home. He's against one of the worst hitting offenses in the MLB with the White Sox. He's a -145 favorite. It's only a 7 over-under. The reason why he's only a -145 favorite is not because they don't expect him to pitch well. It's because you have Garrett Crochet on the other side of it. So the fact that John Gray is a -145 favorite against one of the best pitchers in the league in Garrett Crochet tells you just how bad the White Sox offense is. Because if the White Sox had any sort of a decent offense, the team with Garrett Crochet would be the favorite. So I like John Gray a bunch tonight. I haven't gone to him a lot this year, but on a slate that, kind of struggles for cheap pitching value and we have a Coors Field game, John Gray looks pretty damn good to me. Just know the risk that you're taking when you pick him. He can get blown up, but his chances are as minimal as possible tonight with the matchup against the White Sox. For the infield, let's get cheap. I mean, I don't know what this lineup is. I do the lineups in the early afternoon. But depending on what righty is going to be batting in the heart of this lineup for the Yankees, I like him. We have a matchup of the lefty Jose Quintana. Yankees should score plenty of runs. Right now, DJ LeMahieu is projected to lead off. I don't know how true that is. We have guys like Gleyber Torres projected to bat cleanup. JD Davis, all these righties are up in the air. They've been mixing their lineup up this year because they've been so disappointing. But you have JD Davis at 2,100. If he's batting 6th or lower, he's a great value play. LeMahieu's 2,300. Torres is 2,700. These guys look like good value pieces if you need a cheap bat. Because the Yankees are at home. They're pretty big favorites. It's a 9 over-under. Jose Quintana, definitely on the back end of his career. Someone in this Yankees lineup outside of Juan Soto and Aaron Judge is going to look pretty decent in a value perspective. So keep an eye out on their confirmed lineup. I haven't seen it come out yet. It is very early in the day, so it's not surprising. But whether it's LeMahieu, JD Davis, Gleyber Torres, maybe we've seen Anthony Volpe lead off this year. He's 2,900. There is value to be had for these righties in the Yankees lineup tonight. Second infield play, let's look at Jose Altuve. Now, the Astros were extremely disappointing last night. They got shut out by Hogan Harris of the Athletics. Very, very disappointing. I had them on my parlay too, and they just never had a chance, which was crazy. Eric Getty was a pretty popular cheap pitcher. He ended up getting blown up in like the 4th inning. So it just made last night's slate turn into an absolute disaster. But Altuve at 3,600, whenever he's, hovering around the mid 3,000s, he's going to look really good. He seems like he's having a quiet year, but he's still batting .306. The power is there for a leadoff hitter, for a 5'7" guy. The power is there. He might not even be 5'7". He's like 5'6". But I like Altuve tonight. Like I was saying with us losing yesterday, not only as DFS players do we have to have that mindset, the actual players do too. The Astros, they're $1 million athletes. They get shut out by the Athletics. Very disappointing loss. They're getting back out there tonight in the same mindset that I have. It's a new day. We're a better team than them. And, let's put up some runs tonight. Baseball is so wonky. You can't really, hold grudges over teams and players. Astros are -140 favorites, a sneaky 9 over-under. You don't have any good pitching going on in this game. You have Jake Bloss of the Astros which makes the Athletics hitters pretty viable in this game too, because they have been catching fire. If you look at all the Athletic players' game logs, they are running hot. So they're viable tonight. You have Osvaldo Bido of the Athletics on the mound. Astros should be able to hit him. He's a very inexperienced guy, so Altuve looks good at 3,600. For the outfield, the Diamondbacks in a pretty good spot tonight. You could look at Corbin Carroll, 3,200. He's been kind of finding his stroke as of late. Jock Peterson is a great cheap play. One of the best value plays on this slate at 3,600, assuming he's batting third. You have a good lefty-righty matchup against Alec Marsh of the Royals. This game, I think it has the highest over-under of the slate outside of the Red Sox Coors Field game at 9.5. Jock Peterson, 2,600, really good value play. It's basically a pick 'em in this game. Jordan Montgomery back on the mound off the IL has been terrible against Alec Marsh. Both teams should be able to hit the ball. He's not in my video, but don't be afraid to spend $4,500 on Bobby Witt because he's the hottest hitter on the planet right now. Against Jordan Montgomery, he could easily do some damage. So if you're picking a guy like John Gray or Soriano on the Angels, you can get some Coors Field guys and maybe get to Bobby Witt. But just keep that in mind. I do like Jock Peterson. I like Corbin Carroll at 3,200, but I like Jock Peterson a little bit more because he's cheaper. And then our last play, righty-lefty matchup. Tyler O'Neill should be batting fifth, maybe even cleanup or third tonight. He had 3 hits last night. Pretty good. We all know his power, so whenever Tyler O'Neill is at Coors Field, he doesn't need to do much or try hard to get one out of that stadium. So I like O'Neill again tonight as a spend up at 4,200. He should get up 4 times, maybe 5. Great matchup just like last night. That'll do it for this video, guys. Let's have a big night tonight. Early slate, main slate, after hours slate, and really start to get hot. We need it. We are, starting to count down the days until NFL. Excited for that. But until next time, I am the FD Guru.